Everyone, it's Esther Bibi from Physical Science Department. In my elective disaster management, the topic assigned to me is emergency management theory. So, we don't know what is the disaster and what is the emergency need, what we are going to face in future and by the next minute too. So, we have to be very careful and we have to be prepared for any disaster what is happened by next minute. So, emergency management theory incorporate principles such as disaster prevention, preparedness and improvisation. It is also recommended that the needs of special population be taken into consideration and an exploration of politics. So, for an emergency management theory, we have to be very much prepared for the disaster, and some of the key concepts be followed for this emergency management theory, and I am going to explain what is the key concepts to be followed in emergency management theory. So, the most and very important theory in emergency management theory is comprehensive emergency management theory, that is CEM. A comprehensive emergency management program integrates prevention, mitigation, preparedness, response and recovery. Prevention and mitigation are same, and we have to be prepared, response and recovery into the program's activities. It is also based on the results of hazard identification and risk assessment while using a risk-based approach to planning. So, the emergency management theory comprises mitigation, preparedness, response and recovery. So, each and every human being should be the responsible for each and every disaster, that is maybe a natural disaster or a man-made disaster, but each and every human being must be responsible and should be very careful and should be prepared for each and every disaster in their area. So, first, mitigation. Mitigation in disaster management involves actions taken to reduce or eliminate the risk, impact or severity of disasters. This can include measures like building codes, early warning systems, land use planning and public education campaigns to increase resilience and preparedness. And then second one is preparedness. Preparedness in disaster management involves planning, training and resources to effectively respond to emergencies. It includes risk assessment, creating response plans, stockpiling supplies and educating the public on safety measures. So we should provide awareness for the people to avoid disaster or to take proper measures in the time of disaster. And the third one is response. Response in disaster management refers to the immediate actions taken to address the effects of a disaster. This includes deploying emergency services, providing medical aid, evacuating affected areas, and restoring essential services such as power and water supply. Effective response efforts aim to minimize loss of life, alleviate suffering, and mitigate the impact of the disaster. And the fourth step is we have to recover after the disaster. The responsibility is to be carried out during the time of disaster, and this recovery to be carried out after the disaster. Recovery in disaster management involves restoring communities' infrastructure and economies to pre-disaster conditions or better. It includes activities such as rebuilding homes, restoring public services, supporting affected businesses, providing psychological support to survivors, and implementing measures to reduce vulnerability to similar disaster. So, the vulnerable persons are mostly affected by these disasters, and some of the key concepts for emergency management theory are as follows. First one is social vulnerability. So, mostly the vulnerable persons who are very easily affected by the disaster. Social vulnerability in emergency management theory refers to the concept that certain groups within a population are more susceptible to the impact of disasters due to factors such as socio-economic status, access to resources, age, disability and other social determinants. And second key concept is community-based approaches. Community-based approaches in emergency management theory emphasize the importance of involving and empowering local communities in disaster preparedness, response and recovery efforts. And third one is adaptive capacity. So each and every human being should have the capacity to adapt wherever they stay, wherever they can survive, and they should take care in each and every situation, whatever it is. So adaptive capacity in emergency management theory is about how well people, organizations and systems can adjust and learn from disasters. And finally, governance and collaboration. So the collaboration and coordination or cooperation should be very much important in the time of disaster, and we should not have any inequality at that time, and we should be very kindness to the people, and should be collaborate with each and every one. So governance and collaboration in emergency management theory stress the importance of effective coordination and cooperation among stakeholders for better disaster preparedness, response and recovery. It's about how policies are made and actions are taken collectively to address emergencies. And finally, conclusion. It is important of proactive planning, community engagement, adaptive capacity and collaborative governance to effectively prepare for, respond to and recover from disasters. So this is the emergency management theory, and in the basis of emergency management theory, we have seen that mitigation, preparedness, response and recovery is very much essential for at the time of disaster, and some of the key concepts such as social vulnerability, community based approaches, adaptive capacity and governance and collaboration. So this must be very much adapted in the time of disaster, and this is the emergency management theory.